So anyway, getting back to electrical. This is the car. I just drew on one of these pieces, these notice or whatever you call it. But here's the hood, the trunk. Anyway, there was a wire right sticking out of the sill plate. The door's right here. There was a wire cut, and it was about 1 inch long. So it's been bugging me. So what I did ask Justin to do, I said, let's not just leave the wire cut. Run a long piece until we figure out what it is. So he ran a piece up into the console, and it's under the carpet now. So since then, I'm gonna switch over to here. I'm up in my office. So since then, let me just flip through these pages. There were 6 wires altogether that were unaccounted for. There was a, let's see if I can get back to it. There was a yellow, and a gray. So that turned out to be the radio. Then we still had a pink, a pink with a white stripe, a black with a pink stripe, and an orange with a black stripe. So those are just cut. What are they? So again, I'm just going to explain how I solve things. Sometimes it takes a week. I have to think about it because there's other things going on. But anyway, so now that I know that I have those colors, I've always been thinking there might be a buzzer at the seat belt. But going through here, now that we have the colors written down, right here, a key minder buzzer has let's see, it's so we follow it. There's a black with a pink stripe, and orange with a black stripe. So that's these two. But again, this was just cut off. There's no connection. There's no key minder or buzzer. Then I decided to look through my pile. I showed earlier that I had an extra harness from the other car I had bought way earlier. So it turns out that here is that piece. And there's the right color wire. So that solves that. So then the problem is where do those wires go to? And what are the other 2 wires? Well, before I switch this again, let me go a little bit further. There's also a seatbelt buzzer timer, which is a black. See the black, and then a pink, and a pink black. Anyway, so I think those other wires are this cut. But again, what's mysterious is that there's 1, 2, 3, 4 wires here. So I went and dug through this, and I looked at it, and this is going to this. So to double check that I knew what I was talking about, I went and tracked down that, and that is this directional signal hazard flasher, and it's the 3rd one right here, the pink black, coming over from there. So looking at this, you probably can't see it in this light. Let me see. No, it's a black pink, I mean. So the 3rd wire over is a black pink. It's right here. I don't know if you can see that. So that's definitely what. So anyway, that's a directional signal flasher hazard connection. So this thing must also act as the hazard flasher. So I just drew it all up on here, trying to figure out, you know, where every wire went. And I don't really want to go into that, but this is how I do it. But that led me to, okay, what triggers the seat belt for this buzzer to go off? So of course, all there is this little picture here, and it shows a black wire. I'm trying to follow it. It's going to the seatbelt buzzer. But it shows one wire, and I guess that little arrow it's a ground right there. So that had me start thinking, how does that work? So going back over here, I got two desks in here. Again, this is just my theory right now. I'll check it later, but so here's that black wire coming in. Remember, there's only one wire. I mean, that's all they show, but actually they show a black and it's grounded. So what I'm thinking, let me just talk about this first. At first I was thinking, you know, way over here is where it attaches to the floor, you know, the seatbelt mounting. But then I was thinking there's fabric in between. So the wires must come up to this metal portion and ground. But how do they ground? Because you can't ground it through the fabric, and when you plug this one in over here, which is the one, the male, this is the female, this is the male, when you plug it in, that's got fabric too. So what I'm thinking now is that when the ground wire comes up into here, when you plug this in, this is just my theory now, I can check it later. When you plug this in, it must make some kind of connection where the ground can come in, go through this. In other words, until this is plugged in, it's not a solid wire, we'll call it. Then the ground goes back down to a ground, to the floor, to the dashboard, who knows where. So after I figured that out, I mean, that's my theory. Go back over here. I went up my pile of seat belts, and I found this. Now again, the picture, the drawing only shows one wire, but this is two wires. But let's just assume it's a ground coming in. It needs to have something plugged in. We'll just pretend like this is the other seat belt. Once it's plugged in, the ground can go back down to wherever. So now I'm thinking, will this one work? I mean, you know, goes against the well, I don't know where it goes, to be honest with you, but it looks like this is, let's see, it looks like this is where the console is, or the seat. So I don't even know which side it goes on. But I'm thinking, how do I test this? So I'm thinking if I put a meter on here to see if I have any continuity, if I put a meter from here to here, there should be nothing. But if I plug another seat belt in here, again, this is all theory because I can't find it. I can't find any videos or any information on this. But once I plug that in, then this other one, then there should be continuity. So it's going to run through. When it's plugged in, it makes some kind of connection. Then it'll run down to ground. So anyway, I'll be doing, again, this is just, I want to call this part whatever on the electrical. I can't remember where I left off. But these are the kind of weird problems you run into. And sometimes you just got to walk away from it and do something else. And don't just bury the wire and say the heck with it. If you need to, I told Justin these 4 wires, just put an extra, put a 3-foot connection on them and splice them out, and just we'll let them hang out into the, out of the from under the dash while I'm having time to think about it, because I can always stuff them back in there. So anyway, when I go back down next week, I will check my theory on that. And Justin, if you're watching this, we're trying to figure out. We got all the radio in, we got the 8-track in, but the wire was cut in the back at the rear speaker. Someone cut that off too. So we're wondering which one of those wires is negative and positive. But looking at this, Justin, it says rear seat speaker feed. I'm going to assume feed is power or plus. Should be brown. I can't remember what color those wires are right now. And they're not on this drawing. As far as I know, they don't show speakers. So hopefully we have a brown one. I'm going to assume the brown is the positive side of the speaker. I'm going to take this one step further. Now that I think I have it all figured out, that doesn't mean this is this is eBay. I don't have the connectors that used to be in there. So I can either just, you don't need a connector, but you could just wire them together. But now I'm trying to find a connector, and I'm wondering, is that the right connector? Let's click that. I think this is the wire going to the seat belt. You notice it's got the 4 wires I was talking about. It looks like they're the right colors. Anyway, this is how I do electrical troubleshooting. Just keep working at it, trying to find the connectors. Do I need the buzzers? No. But do I want the car to be like it was when it was born? Yeah. I was thinking if I didn't want a buzzer, if the seatbelt started driving me crazy, the buzzer, I could just put a switch right in the middle. Or just reach under the dash, click it off. It's just a ground connection.